Well, and welcome to Colorado. I am in Beaver Creek, Colorado. Clearly a beautiful day. We're going to start outside. We're going to work our way into a fireside chat. So hopefully we have good audio and good video from where we are right here, right now. People are logging in, fired up. Today's episode on Live at 5 is to share your story. I'm going to let you know the 3 powerful benefits of sharing your story. And this came because of the amount of people that I've spoke to that have this incredible story, but a little bit of resistance in sharing that story. So today I'm going to say the 3 main benefits of what happens when you share your story. And we're going to do a little fireside chat. I'm going to work my way up into the Osprey Hotel, into the fireside chat room, and we're going to just connect. We're going to hang out. This is called Strawberry Park. I'm right next to the gondola, and they look like they're doing a little work outside here. What's up, Jamie? You can tell my story. Thank you, Emily. Mel, Lane, how are you? Shannon Hughes, what's up, Shannon? Tracy, good to hear from you. Good to see you. I talked to a lot of your friends today. Mel, talked to you a couple days ago. Well, you know what's amazing is the people that I spoke to today. 3 people over in New Zealand, which was awesome. And they all had these like super powerful stories. And they all hadn't shared their stories with literally anybody. What's up, Anna? How are you? So I started to think, man, how many different people have these great stories that haven't shared them? Maybe because we don't quite realize the benefits of sharing our story. So today, I'm going to let you know the 3 benefits of sharing your story. And I think many of you know my story because of my willingness to share it with you. If I wouldn't have been willing to share my story with you, then in theory, we wouldn't be here doing what we're doing today. I certainly wouldn't have got a call like I did from Emily today, who reached out to me and said, hey, somebody in my family is struggling with addiction. Could you offer any support or help? And I said, you know, a couple short things. Maybe it'll help, maybe it won't. But at the end of the day, that's because I was willing to share my story. And that's one of the things that can happen when you do that. So what's up, Paul? How are you, brother? Shannon, where are you at today? Vince Rigoni, I know that you're upstairs. I just went to this health food store and I tried this thing called Runa Clean Energy. I wonder how clean it really is. I mean, it tastes pretty clean. It tastes almost like earth. Let's see what's in it. Organic guayasa. What is guayasa? Guayasa is a super leaf naturally packed with antioxidants. Okay. What's up, Sky? I was like, Sky, I talked to Sky today. I was like, is that your name? Your real name? I love that. Sky Jasmine, a great name. I was just with Lala, Natalie, and Gabe. That's cool. Vince, you're at the pool. How's the poolside going? Paul Evans, good to have you today. So the 3 most beneficial reasons of sharing your story. And at first, before we do that, what's up, Victor from Merritt Island? How are you? You know, I love how Victor shows up here almost every day. I love that. I like it, my friend. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. Who here feels like they've shared their story with other people? Who here feels like they've openly shared their story with other people? Not just a couple people, like your closest of friends. Have you really shared your story with others? Have you really gone out there and told your story, the things that you've overcome, your major victories in life, your deepest and darkest struggles, what you believe, what you stand for, who you are as a person, where you're headed in life? Have you empowered others by your story? Have you freed others from your story? Have you freed yourself from your story? Have you held back and said, I don't know if I could tell my story because I don't know what people will think about me. I don't know if I'm ready to share it yet. You know, and it's okay either way. There's no right or wrong. I'm more curious who here feels like they have shared their story and who hasn't. Lane, perhaps anything that's come from it, any sort of experiences that you've encountered so far from sharing your story. Sky, you haven't. Any reason why you think you haven't? Tracy, you have such a good story. If you even knew what your friends say about you, I think you'd be sharing your story a lot more. You're clearly a powerful woman, a brilliant leader, and you've lifted up so many people that I've spoke to on the phone all over the world. And Gita, I'm very sorry to hear that. It sounds like you got some struggles going on. We'll pray for you. Sorry to hear that. Dee, you definitely need to share your story. You know you have a powerful one too. Rebecca, you have in the past. So sharing your story, so many good things happen. We're going to go do a little fireside chat, but I wanted to show you the great outdoors. This is Beaver Creek, Colorado. We're going to do a little fireside chat. Where to start, I suppose? It's always a good question. Cool little workout area here. We're going to do a little fireside chat. Gave me my power back and helped many other people struggling with the same issue. Boom, you nailed it, Lane. That's exactly what happens when you share your story. So I think you're going to enjoy what we talk about here. Whoops, wrong floor. Back down. Who else has shared their story? If you could tell me what's happened when you shared your story. Little fireside chat. I got some water here. Say hi. All right, so 3 main things happen when you share your story. First of all, when you share your story, you get freedom from your past. No matter what it is, you get to free yourself from your past. Number 2 is there's fun in your future. And number 3, there's fortune for others. See, what we do, and the reason that we don't share our stories that much, is we think that we're like really different from other people. And we think that we might have to like kind of hide who we are and what we've been through and what's going on in our lives. It's like we shouldn't share it with other people. You know, the common thing of like, what will someone else think about me? You know, what are they going to think about who I am or what I was going through or what I experienced? So we get this fear of judgment. That's why we don't share our story. We're so scared. Is someone else going to judge me? Are they going to put me on the chopping block? Am I going to be an outcast? Am I going to be made fun of? Am I going to be different, that I'll no longer be accepted? I think that's the number one reason that people don't share their stories. Well, when you share your story, number 1, you get freed from your past. So whatever it is that you've gone through, whether it was like myself, it was trauma, addiction, and poverty. I actually thought that it would not be a good thing to share with other people that I was poor. I certainly didn't think it was a good thing to share with other people that I used drugs and I was a drug addict. So I also didn't think that it was a good thing to share with people that I had faced this trauma. And the way that I did it is I started to kind of go through this whole I got to live a different life. I got to fake it till I make it. I got to make up a different story. And none of that really served me. It actually hurt me, because the longer I did that, the longer I stayed in darkness. And the longer you're in darkness, the less light you have in your life. And you don't really have the ability just to feel good and free on the inside. The moment you share your story, you get freed from your past. Whether it's shame, guilt, regret, resentment, whatever those emotions are, you are freed from it in that moment that you decide to share your story with others. The most powerful is to share it with people that you're scared of rejection from, to see what sort of embrace it. Like, I'm going to share this with the people that I'm scared the most that are going to reject me, and see what happens, because some will reject you, some will criticize you, and most of them will turn around and connect with you on a deeper bond than you've ever had before. For the first time in your life, you'll experience true, deep relationships with people that are totally connected on the same level, because they know what you've been through and they need your story, and you're totally freed from your past. That's number one, freedom from your past. What else happens when you share your story is number two, fun for the future. So if you can, write these down. Somebody write these down. Number one, freedom from the past. You're going to get free of that trap that you're living in, free of the jail that you put yourself in, free of the bondage that you're holding yourself in, free of the conviction that you're creating on yourself, free of the judgment that you've put on top of yourself, free of that feeling, free for good. I no longer had to feel like I was inadequate, not good enough. Freedom from the past. Number two, fun for the future. Who here wants to have fun? Raise your hand. If you want to have a good time and you want to party and you want to travel the world and you want to have deep meaning relationships and you want to have laughter and joy and you want to dance and just sing and have a fun future, that's what you got to do. Share your story. It's actually the most fun thing at all. You don't have to talk about too many other things. The moment you decide, I'm going to share my story, I'm not worried about judgment, you get freed from the past. And number two, you start to have fun in your future. Why? Because you can actually connect with people on something that means something to your life. The purpose of why you lived, the meaning of who you are, the destiny in your heart, the desires of your future. Because what you're hoping inside, internally, without knowing, is that you could overcome your struggle and turn it into your wealth. That in the future, you're going around and people are like acknowledging you. Hey, thank you so much, Lane, for sharing your story. Lane, has this ever happened to you? When somebody acknowledged who you were, for the risk that you take, how brave you were to share your story, what you overcame, and how they all of a sudden were like, hey man, that was great. They acknowledged you. That's fun. That feels good, because then you know you're moving in the right direction. You can have fun in the future because now you can create a group, a mastermind, different conversations, different context about your story. And it doesn't have to be about you. What it is about this new playing field. Because in the past, you were in the dark that you created. You were thinking that you were so different than others, and people, you were scared that they were going to judge you. That is not fun. That is misery. That is darkness. That's not who you are. You are free. You were born free. The future for you is free. Remember the word future? Say future. Future. Because in the future, you can have anything. Fun for the future. In the future, you can have fun because you no longer have to hide. You no longer have to worry about acceptance from others. You can just be free, liberated, relaxed, and you could go on your path, on your journey, knowing that you don't have any regrets. The past is behind you. The future is bright and is in front of you. And number three, this is the big dinger. This is the big kicker. Fortune for others. Fortune for others. Greatness, as described in the Bible, is to lift others up. It's like delivering others to their destiny showing them the way to greatness by helping others, lift them up. So it's like this whole thing that we might think that success is a monetary value. Maybe it's a statistic, or it's, some sort of acclamation, like, you are this person and you are recognized as this person. But in truth, it's actually lifting other people up. In the future, when you share your story, there's fortune for others. I love the saying, your story of struggle is your wealth. Your story of struggle is your wealth. Now you have the golden key to somebody else's happiness. Now you have the golden key to somebody else's true wealth by sharing your story. Why? And we'll use Lane for an example because I believe a lot of you have. Who's here heard Lane's story? Or, because Lane makes a lot of videos, so he's a perfect example. Go to Lane's page. Check out his story. His story is fascinating. It's empowering to other people. They're like doing a fire drill or something. So when Lane shares his story, he is freed from his past. He's having fun in his future, and he's creating fortune for others. So in theory, and Lane, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this what's happened in your life? Because it's seemingly what's been going on that I've noticed. That why is Lane connected with me in the beginning? Lane, why did you connect with me in the beginning? Because I shared my story. And see, a few years ago, I decided to go from this beaten down, in the darkness, ex-drug addict without any money to saying, hey, you know what? I live in Hawaii. I used to do drugs all the time. That's how I got filled up, and that's what I thought I had to do for happiness. I don't have any money, but I'm in a good place that I'm where I want to be, and I'm growing, and I'm going to get better each day. And I was super humble about it, and I was scared as can be. And then I thought all my friends who I did drugs with were going to judge me. They were going to criticize me. That's what I thought. I'm friends with half of them now. The other ones, I don't know where they're at, but I'm friends with most of them. Some still use drugs, most of them don't. And even the ones that do, we're just as good friends. We talk on the same, we don't maybe spend as much time together, but we talk. And we still have a deep relationship. And it's meaningful and it's powerful. And the only shift was I decided not to do drugs anymore, decided to overcome it and then talk about it. And say, hey, I was a drug addict. Not a big deal. I was poor. I had no money. I stood in food lines to get food. I cashed in coins. I struggle with finances. I struggle with relationships. Hey, that's who I am. I struggle with relationships. I had limiting beliefs. I was inadequate and insecure about myself. And that's who I felt I was. I went through that. So I just started sharing my story with others. And what happens? I get free from my past. I have fun in the future. I have fortune for others. Do you know what? The main reason, and you guys tell me, why are you here right now on this live at 5? Why are you here today on this live at 5, right this moment, watching me at a fireside chat? Why? You're here for a reason. You're here because I shared my story. You're here because someone else shared their story with you. Someone told you, hey, go watch this. See, when you share this story, when you go share this video, that's sharing the story. You're sharing your life. You're sharing other people's lives. And we're connected together. That's why we're growing. That's why we're getting stronger. That's why we're more unified. That's why we're more powerful. That's why we're more abundant. That's why we're so connected. That's why we have a bright future. That's why we have abundance in our horizon. That's why our eyes are on the prize. That's why our dreams are going to come real. That's why the realization of one another of getting healthy is going to happen. We're going to have more health. We're going to have more vitality. We're going to have more energy. We're going to feel more relaxed. We're going to be more inspired. We're going to totally be motivated. We're going to be able to move mountains. We have more faith. We're filling our starvation of faith with faith because we're believing in one another. We're sharing the story with one another. We're in a circle, a community. We're together. We're lifting up one another. Simply because of what? I shared my story. How did I share my story? Why did I decide to do this on Facebook? Years ago, my mentor said to me, Stephen, let me just make sure that I have this right. You live in Hawaii and you overcame this troubling past. You have pain and you have the paradise. You have it all. Share your story. I said, wow, what a great idea. Maybe I should share my story. But you want to know what I said? I've only just stopped using drugs a short time ago. Maybe I should wait. What if I start using again? Well, that's actually a good story too. You wanted to get clean, you started using again, and then you had to start over and do it again. This isn't about being a drug addict. This isn't about being poor. This isn't about going through trauma. This isn't about being overweight. This isn't about having, you can't even work out because you're out of shape so bad. This isn't about being addicted to food. This isn't about going to jail. This isn't about being a troubled parent. This isn't about your kids struggling. What this is about is lifting other people up, freeing yourself, and having fun. That's what it's all about. This is it. This is the moment that you just decide, I'm going to share my story. I'm actually really scared about it. I don't know what people are going to say. Where do I begin? Just share it. Share it today. Over time, you share it again and again and again, and people will resonate with it. The more you start to share your story, the easier it gets to share your story. It's pretty toasty right next to a little fireside chat. That's Beaver Creek Village over there. That's the lift right there, Strawberry Hill. And the reason I'm showing you that is the moment that you decide that you are just like everybody else, but you have a unique story, a unique gift, and a unique calling, you will no longer feel so individualized and trapped in this beautiful, abundant world that we live in. There is absolutely nothing wrong with what you're going through. There is nothing to be ashamed of for what you have endured. There is nothing to feel inadequate about if you're going through a money issue, a health issue, or a relationship struggle. Do you realize that of the 7 or 8 billion people in the world, all of us are going through or have gone through a money issue, a relationship issue, a business struggle, a identity crisis? We have gone through those and will continue to go through those forever as a world. So your story is often the only product people need. Your story is the inspiration somebody else needs to hear. You are the motivator. You are the inspirer. You are the victorious one that someone else needs to hear from. The most relatable story is the one told by the person most feared to tell it. That person, if it is you, and maybe you would be willing to take a leap right now and say, this is me. The person who's the scaredest, who's full of the most fear, who's made the least effort to share their story in public, on social media, in private with others, that person, that story is the most important one. That's the one that needs to be told. That's the most powerful shift that's going to happen. That's the story that others are going to connect with the most. The one that's the scaredest, that has that darkest story, that have went through the worst of the worst. That's the story that needs to be told. And I'm just here to encourage you to do it. Sharing my story changed my entire life. I no longer feel unable to talk openly to people. I no longer have that sense that I need to hide something. I no longer feel shame. I don't feel the regret. I don't feel the guilt. I don't have those emotions anymore because I was willing to put it on the line and share my story. Yes, you will get resistance. Yes, you will get criticism, and those will weigh ounces compared to the pounds of freedom that you will experience in your life. You will be freed beyond the measure of that you know freedom to be right now, because those couple little people, they're going to talk about you and criticize you and make fun of you and say that you're not good and blah, blah, blah. Did you hear what's her name was just sharing on Facebook? Can you believe it? And then like that'll happen. It'll be cool because you're going to get emails, you're going to get messages, you're going to get phone calls, you're going to get people say, hey, you know what? thank you so much for sharing your story. You have no idea how much I needed to hear it. What it did for me, how it made me feel. It got me on that right path. And you will affect people that you've never met in your entire life by simply sharing your life with others. I encourage you. Just do it. Share your story and let me know when you do it. Share your story and let me know how I can help you do that. Share your story with others and be brave enough to share it again and again and again, because that's your life and it's worth sharing with others. That's it. That's all I got. The best is yet to come. The future is so bright. Have that courage in your heart. Make that shift today. Make the decision that you're going to be willing to share your story with others. So many of you who are watching this right now said, I'm going to share my story. I'm going to do it. And it changed their life. And it changed the life of those around them. And it made it so much more powerful that you can stand in conviction right in your place, right in your body, right in your moment. And you have nothing to fear. You have everything to gain from this. And nothing is wrong with what you've went through, except for your fear of sharing it. You're keeping the darkness in your life. Let your light shine. Get out there, share that powerful story, and please let me know when you do, because I'm looking forward to hear the stories of those that listen to this. And as we're writing this book alive, I started to write this book called Alive, and I thought, man, what a great idea. And then the book came flowing. Every word came flowing to me like it was so easy. And then I realized that this story of Alive is about your story and about the stories of others. So the moment you share your story, and hopefully this had something to do to help you. Maybe heal was the reason that you got to where you were. Something I said or something somebody else said who was a part of the community or somebody in your life. Something that somebody said, some story that was shared helped your story get shared. And that story created liberation and freedom and prosperity in your life. And I want to hear that story, because I want to put that story in the book that we are writing together. We are writing a book called Alive, and your story is going to get in there, but the moment you share it is the beginning of that new journey of your life, and it's a chapter in this book that we are writing together. And I'm not saying this in a way to, it's not a metaphorical saying. I'm really writing a book, and I'm really hoping that your story is in it, because I believe that that's the type of story that you have. So this Thursday night, we're going to do at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, to replace the daily live at 5, we're going to do a live webinar for Heal. Anybody who wants to invite, let us know. We're going to put we're going to put an awesome webinar together there. Minute, every hour, and every day. It's on you.